Namaskar, Привет. My name is Ankit, and you must be knowing that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Moscow these days, and this trip is very important for both India and Russia on many ways. In many ways, however, I want to highlight one of the crucial aspects of this visit that has changed from the past time. Is the coverage of Russian media about India, as well as the coverage of Indian media about Russia, and as per many Indian community members in Moscow, the coverage in Russian media about this visit has been increased four times. It's visible in the government advertisements, the statements, and the talk of the town. And the same goes for Indian media, which was not really present in Russia in the past, but now they sent a huge team and they also collaborating with each other. So in this video, let's talk how Russian media has presented Indian team's visit and what importance they have given. So let's go. Let's go. Before going further, I like to make a disclaimer that most of the things are taken from other websites, and also it's based on my experience of understanding Russian language. Although I used Google Translation for your better understanding. So let's go. The first, we'll focus on RIA Novosti. This is the Russian government-funded media outlet or a news agency, and it talked about the long relationship India and Russia have. So it started when the India and Russia started diplomatic relations in 1947, how they progressed over the years, and also what kind of relations we have now, like a number of tourists visiting India, number of tourists visiting Russia, like Indians visiting Russia and Russians visiting India, and the cultural exchange we have with each other. And I think they also spoke about films being produced with each other and some vaccine. So this is on a broad spectrum of the relations we have, alongside defense, nuclear energy, fertilizer, and all sorts of things. We have a sorts of trade relations. And the next, another um, mm, news agency is Vetia. It's also one of the Russian news agency, and it only quoted what Prime Minister Modi has written on his Twitter before departing for Moscow about special relations India has with Russia, and Mr. Modi is looking forward to meet Mr. Putin. So called him a friend. And the interesting thing I have noticed on Gazeta.ru is actually the Russian state government newspaper. It's fully owned by the Russian government. It mentioned about the payment issues, which is a problem with both countries, and also about the Indian citizens being duped or falsely taken on the pretext of getting better job opportunities in Russia and then forced to fight alongside Russian army in Ukraine. So one or two of the Indian citizens died in such conditions, and Indian government demanding from Russian government to release of those citizens as soon as possible. So this will be one of the issues, and it's very interesting that it's being covered in Russian state government newspaper. It's kind of a negative point, but it's good that it's being covered. Moving on to the next, the state broadcasting like Doordarshan, the channel one, it has given the visit a prime time coverage, and every day it has invited experts to discuss the bilateral relations and how the Indian-Russia relations are going to change in the future, considering the decline of the Western influence and the commitment of both Russia and India towards multipolar world. So that's very good coverage. And the interesting thing I found about Komasarat, this is the top business daily of Russia, that they talk about mm, the, the, the problem between two countries related to trade. Like, it's not possible to trade freely simply because of three reasons. First, sanctions. Anybody who is trading with Russia now is at the risk of secondary sanctions. Second, the payment problems. Rupee ruble trade is not well established, and the third is lack of information about each other. So these are the three risks anybody, especially from India, trying to do business with Russia. So this article is actually critical of Russian government. It's asking Russian government to do more to minimize the risk and create a better, stable system of payments if they want to increase trade with countries like India. Otherwise, any company which is trading with Russia is at the risk of getting sanctioned by Western countries, and that may put them off not to do business with Russia. So article is actually critical of Russian government and asking them to do more to create a stable payment system which is risk free for those companies, so that the trade can boost, people can travel, and the payment can be made easier. And this is a win-win situation for both the countries. So this article is critical of that. And one of the other top web news website, um, Regu, it has just published a good photo of Prime Minister Modi and President Putin, and it has just same repeated the same quote on Twitter. Mr. Modi has wrote written, sorry, has written before departing for Moscow. And interestingly, one of the news outlet of of Russia, not Russian, Russia, has actually put a biography of Mr. Modi. It has mentioned when he was born, where he was born, how did he uh, came to uh, join RSS, and it has a very special name for RSS, Union of Voluntary Servants of the Motherland, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. And it's also mentioned how Modi volunteered to fight against Pakistan as part of, let's say, volunteered to join Indian Army to fight against Pakistan. Then he mentioned about the demo of the of the emergency in India in 1975 to 1977, and how he joined BJP in 1985, and how he became three-term Gujarat chief minister, and he was banned from visiting US and all those things. So it is interesting. They covered a whole lot of things about his entire political career, and this was not so significant. They just mentioned that Mr. Putin and Modi are not going to uh, jointly address press, something which often happens, but this is not happening in this case. It's not really a significant thing. And the most important thing which I found today is the joint broadcast between Russia Today, Russian government funded broadcaster, versus Republic. Now, Republic is not state government funded; it's a private entity, but it's a huge viewership in India. And 2 years ago, Indian media used to take information about Russia from Western media. They did not have a presence in Moscow or anywhere in Russia, and mm, they didn't send their journalists at the time to Russia in the way they are sending it now. So we kind of reading a Western narrative on Russia for a long time, but things have changed. The way Russian media has given a red carpet welcome to Prime Minister Modi, and the way Indian media has moved or reached Moscow in a large number and covering the visit from Moscow and collaborating with their media outlets, it's a very good sign that what we call the Indian narrative, that we talking about talking uh, with each other indirectly instead of a mediator or some third person. It's a positive sign, and the way India and Russia are planning to grow their relationship together, it's a good sign that information is going to flow more freely, and we are able to get more access to information from other countries of Russia and India with each other. So it's a positive development. And with that, I like to end my short video. And if you like this, please share it. And if you want to know more about Russia in the future or more geopolitics, just subscribe my channel. And thank you for watching. And for your reference, these are the links I have used. So thank you for being with me, and have a good day.